The sun blazed down on South Padre Island, casting a golden glow on the bustling beach. The sky was a brilliant blue, unmarred by even a single cloud. It was July 4th, 2024, and the air crackled with the excitement of Independence Day. The beach was alive with the sounds of laughter and music. Families, friends, and tourists had flocked to the Texas shoreline, eager to celebrate with refreshing dips in the Gulf of Mexico. People swimming and fishing in the surf. But fate had a different plan. The shift was almost imperceptible at first, a subtle change in the atmosphere. The ocean, usually a source of solace, was about to reveal its raw power. The waves began to crash more forcefully against the shore. This 4th of July, the rhythm of celebration would be shattered by the chilling realization that beneath the surface lurked an ancient predator. The red flag went up, a universal signal of danger. Parents called for their children, pulling them from the water. People began to pack up their belongings, their movements hurried and anxious. The festive atmosphere had evaporated. And then the reason for the alarm became clear. A shark fin cut through the water, its presence unmistakable and terrifying. As night fell, fireworks lit up the sky, a symbol of resilience and hope. Despite the day's events, the spirit of Independence Day endured. As the initial shockwaves of the first attack rippled through the crowd, a collective gasp of horror swept across the beach. The once serene and picturesque shoreline was now a scene of chaos and confusion. People who had been lounging on their towels, soaking up the sun, were now on their feet, eyes wide with disbelief and fear. The air was thick with the sound of panicked voices, each one trying to make sense of the nightmare unfolding before them. Barely 30 yards from where the first victim stumbled ashore, another figure emerged from the surf, their arms flailing wildly, their voice choked with terror. The water around them seemed to bubble and froth, as onlookers could hardly believe their eyes as the second victim, a young woman, struggled to make her way to the shore after the shark bit through her calf muscle. Her movements were frantic, each step a desperate attempt to escape the unseen menace lurking beneath the waves. There was a young man, his face contorted in pain, a gruesome bite mark marring him. His skin was pale, and his breaths came in ragged gasps. The torso wound was deep, and blood flowed freely, staining the sand beneath him. Bystanders rushed to his aid, their faces etched with concern and fear. Some tried to apply pressure to the wound, while others called out for help, their voices tinged with desperation. The ocean, moments ago, a playground for carefree laughter and joyous splashes, had transformed into a scene of unimaginable horror. The water, once a sparkling blue, now seemed dark and foreboding. The laughter of children and the chatter of families had been replaced by screams and cries for help. The beach, which had been a haven of relaxation and fun, was now a place of terror and uncertainty. The once inviting waves, now stained with crimson, seemed to churn with a malevolent energy, each crest concealing a potential threat. The sea, which had always been a source of joy and adventure, now seemed to hold a sinister secret. Every wave that crashed onto the shore brought with it a sense of dread, as if the ocean itself was warning the beachgoers to stay away. The festive atmosphere evaporated, replaced by a suffocating blanket of fear and uncertainty. People who had been enjoying their day in the sun were now running for their lives, their faces masks of terror. The beach, once filled with the sounds of laughter and play, was now a cacophony of screams and shouts. The sense of safety and security that had once enveloped the beach was gone, replaced by chilling realization that danger could strike at any moment. The piercing wail of sirens sliced through the air, heralding the arrival of first responders. Lifeguards, trained for such emergencies, sprinted across the sand, their faces grim, their movements urgent. The beach, once a scene of carefree joy, was now a chaotic tableau of flashing lights, frantic shouts, and the gut-wrenching cries of the injured.
Paramedics, their faces etched with concern, worked swiftly to stabilize the victims, their hands moving with practiced efficiency as they battled to control the bleeding. The injured were carefully lifted onto stretchers, their faces pale with pain and shock, and rushed from the beach, leaving behind a trail of blood-stained sand and a palpable sense of dread.
As news of the attack spread like wildfire, a hush fell over the beach. The carefree laughter of children was replaced by the hushed whispers of adults, their faces etched with a mixture of horror and disbelief.
Eyewitness accounts, fragmented and tinged with terror, painted a chilling picture of the attacks. Some spoke of a dark shape gliding through the water, others of a sudden violent impact, and the screams that followed.
A collective sense of vulnerability settled over the crowd. The ocean, once a source of comfort and joy, now seemed menacing and unpredictable.